Hello and welcome to Game and Gain. My name is Muzz and welcome to my final word where I'm going to talk about The Last of Us Part 2. I have now finished it. This is going to be all spoilers. I'm going to talk about the end of the game, aspects of the story. So if you do not want to hear any of that, if you want to experience it yourself, please avoid watching this video. Watch my impressions video that I've done, which I don't spoil anything. But this is going to be full blown spoilers from now. So, end of The Last of Us Part 2. I came away with some mixed feelings about the ending, the end stretch. I felt like this game could have ended sooner. In some places, I felt like let's talk about the big twist, I guess, is what it is basically you play through as Ellie and you think that you're just going to play through as Ellie for the whole campaign, even though you've taken over as Abby initially, which kind of gives you an idea that you're going to be playing her in some capacity towards the end of the game. But what I didn't know was that there's essentially two separate campaigns which go along the same timeline and obviously cross over and intertwine. So you get to Ellie's stopping point, which is when Abby finds her. You've killed her friends in the aquarium. You've killed a few of her friends. You've met Tommy, and then you take over as Abby. And it does the game does take some risks, which I like. It's not a cut and dry story. They tried to paint Abby initially as this like cold-blooded killer who, you know, only wanted revenge against Joel, which they actually do a good job of showing her reasoning for what she does to Joel. Obviously, Joel ends up killing her father, who's going to extract Ellie's brain or something, which will kill her. And that leads her on the path to The Last of Us Part 2, where she kills Joel, and then seemingly everything kind of goes back to normal. But then you see her memory, there's flashbacks to her with her dad and stuff. So they took some risks. They tried to portray Abby as a sympathetic character. She essentially takes the Joel role, where it's someone who is, you know, a bad person, but you feel empathy towards them because of what they've gone through, who they've lost, and she does a very good job of fulfilling that role. I think she's a good character, a very strong character, obviously physically, but not just that, but just in terms of like her acting. Her actor is very good. The delivery of some of the lines is quite tough, especially when she finds out about her friends. That was a good scene. I thought the person playing her done very well. And she comes across as I liked her in the end. Initially I was like, this is a bit strange to be playing the person who killed Joel, but I can see why they did it. And then you kind of go back to Ellie when, after it's all over, you've met. Abby says, look, basically Abby beats her up and says, look, I don't want to see you again. Gives her another chance to go away, and then it cuts to Ellie, who's seemingly living a happy life. She's with Dina, who's had the baby, and that is where I would have ended it. I thought they were going to go for like a Red Dead 2 kind of vibe, where it's like you're building a house, you're surviving out there, which I was down for, and like this would be a good ending. But Ellie just can't get the feeling that she needs to act out revenge for Joel, because Joel did do a lot for her. So then there's a whole nother sequence in Santa Barbara where you play as Abby initially, looking for the Fireflies. She gets captured by another group who get flung in at the end. There's another, the Human or Monsters group, who are like, do bad things to we've done this before, you know, not just in The Last of Us but in media, where the humans are the real bad guys, not the infected. They were kind of poor, to be honest, the final enemies. But then you find Abby and her and Ellie have like a cinematic final battle, Ellie ultimately decides not to kill her. She goes back home to find that, you know, Dina's left her, left the house with the baby, and it kind of leaves you with a bit of an empty ending, bit of a hollow ending, which, you know, I do like. You know, I like that they don't always end with a happy ending. The first Last of Us kind of had a happy ending where Ellie was okay, but Joel had done something horrifically selfish to herself, and this is more or less as Ellie's done something horrifically selfish, and now she's actually paid the price for it in terms of her relationship with Dina. And the game, look, I'm not going to tell someone how to write their story. It's their vision. It's what they want to do. I just felt it could have been cut a wee bit shorter. I felt like it started to drag towards the end of the Abby story. When you were on the island of the Scars, the Seraphites, I was like, right, I need this to conclude quite soon, and then there's a whole 5-6 hour section after that. But ultimately, I did enjoy The Last of Us Part 2. I think it was a good game, a great game. The detail in the houses, the combat. Last of Us is at its best when it's horror, it's survival horror. When you're low on supplies, you're in an infected area, and you need to crouch, sneak by them, picking off the enemies one at a time, and hoping that you can get out of there with using as little resources as possible. It doesn't allow you to do that too much in this. I will say that there is too many supplies. The Last of Us Part 1 does a much better job making you feel like every supply mattered, where toward the end I was just like, I'm going to get stuff, I'm going to get bullets, I'm going to get things to make bombs, so throw a bomb, shoot some people, go loud, it doesn't really matter. So yeah, I guess I'm trying to think of anything else that I need to talk about.
That's good.
Dina is a great character. I loved her. She was a great companion. Same with Jesse. Shame what happened to him. I like that there's no like dramatic deaths. Like, it's not like drawn out. It's like a gunshot to the head and you're like, Jesus, just out of nowhere. I like that. There's no like dramatic deaths where it's like, go on without me. And like, no, maybe there is a few of them, but I don't think for the companions anyway. I'm trying to think back. Anyway, let me get back. Tommy, good character, and then the Abby's entourage are good. Her and Owen's relationship is a bit strange. Mel is an interesting character as well, and it's just a well acted game. It's a well thought out game in terms of the story beats, but I just felt like it dragged on just a little bit too long for me. So that is really all I had to say. I don't really know much else. I enjoyed the experience. It was a long game, which I didn't think going into this. I expected maybe 10-15 hours, not 25 to 30. I think that's how long I played it for, just because I wanted to explore every inch of the world. So every house that you could go into, I was in there exploring. But ultimately, I enjoyed it. Some aspects I felt could have been done better, but some aspects I felt like were done amazingly well. The story takes risks. It has interesting characters, it has strong characters that I think I'll remember for a long time. So that is my thought. That is my final word on The Last of Us Part 2. You will not see anything of it on the channel again unless it makes the video game index, which, who knows, it may or may not. Anyway, that's me. So subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, do all that good stuff. Any thoughts, comments, general hostile remarks, leave them below. Thank you very much. Goodbye.